G'day and welcome to another Fortress Learning bite-sized tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to look at another adult learning theory or part of, and we're going to talk about the difference between andragogy and pedagogy, or andragogy and pedagogy, depending on how you want to pronounce it. It really doesn't make any difference. So andragogy and pedagogy refer to the different ways that both adults and children learn. So what that means is there are different considerations when we're presenting content to our learners, as well as their involvement in the learning process makes a big difference depending on who we're teaching. So in this video, we're going to talk about some of those differences.
Let's start by taking a look at pedagogy and what it means from a teaching perspective. Firstly, the word pedagogy itself derives from the Greek words paidi, meaning child, and ago, meaning guide. So it essentially means to guide children, which in terms of education means the practice of teaching children. Pedagogy involves providing students with opportunities to learn through experiences that are presented directly to them by the teacher. In other words, the teacher leads the learning and the student depends on the teacher to provide the resources and structure. This works because children have little or no previous experiences to link and compare. So they're presented with information via a structured curriculum. Implementing pedagogical theory is a bit like working with a blank canvas that's about to be painted or a house that's being built from the ground up. This process reflects the theory of behaviorism, where it's believed that the learner is influenced by external stimuli and a noticeable change in behavior indicates that the learning is taking place. This could include simple things like when the bell rings, line up outside the classroom, or when the teacher talks, the students are quiet. Each thing here is noticeable, and each item learned is another brick in the knowledge wall. According to the pedagogical research of Swiss psychologist Piaget and his theory of constructivism, children come to the classroom ready to engage and learn. It's the teacher's role to present activities that will engage the learners, to spark their inquisitive imaginations and promote the retention of new ideas. This is a process of learning through play that allows children to discover their environment by directly interacting with it. With pedagogy, it's so important to ensure a well-structured sequence of delivery to build a solid platform of knowledge that's required before a learner can progress to the next stage. From the learner's perspective, the teacher is the one who knows best, and the learners gravitate to them for the knowledge. The motivation for learners comes from the teacher and others, including family members. And the content of learning is subject-focused with a prescriptive and set curriculum.
If we think now about adult learners and the wealth of knowledge and experiences they bring with them to the training, you may begin to question the effectiveness of pedagogy in the adult vocational education and training environment. And you wouldn't be alone. So let's take a look now at andragogy and see how it stacks up as a learning theory for teaching adults.
Andragogy focuses on guiding the adults, or essentially the practice of teaching adults. Adult learners are more independent and don't require or desire information to be spoon-fed to them, but rather they choose to be directly involved in the learning and only reach out to the teacher for assistance when necessary. Adults also bring with them a wealth of experience that they can utilize with a bit of guidance from the trainer to solve more complicated and abstract problems to build on their existing knowledge. Unlike pedagogy, that was like building a house of knowledge from scratch, andragogy is more like doing renovations to a house of knowledge that's already been built. When delivering training to adults, it's important to recognize that they are self-motivated and usually attend training with a specific goal in mind, like enhancing skills for professional development within their own careers. The role of a teacher in andragogy theory is to support the learners where necessary as they work on solutions to problem-centered content that is presented to them. It's important to recognize the characteristics of adults and acknowledge the experiences that they bring with them to ensure that the methods we use have meaning and relevance to the learners. Back in the 1970s, an educator named Malcolm Knowles identified that the way adults learn is significantly different from the way children learn. He presented his theory, which expanded on the concept of andragogy. Knowles believed that the characteristics of pedagogy failed to be effective in adult education. Knowles made 4 initial assumptions about adult learners. Adults need to know why they need to learn something and is it relevant now? Adults need both good and bad experiences to enhance the learning process. Adults prefer a problem-centered approach to learning where they can use their existing skills and knowledge to find solutions. Adults will learn best when the topic is relevant to either them personally or relevant to their workplace or their work goals. The theory of andragogy suggests that when teaching adults, the use of stories and examples that are relevant to the learners will enhance their understanding by allowing them to match and compare new information with their existing knowledge base. This is more likely to produce those magical light bulb moments where everything suddenly comes together for the learner. In comparison, we can see that pedagogy is definitely suited to children who present themselves for training with a blank canvas. A need for highly structured, subject-centered content is essential for skill and knowledge development. Adults, on the other hand, are self-motivated and have a purpose for undertaking training. They bring a bounty of experiences with them. Delivering training to adults using methods of pedagogy may not be so well accepted. Andragogy, on the other hand, accepts and recognises the characteristics and differences of adults and embraces them in the learning process. Andragogy, as the name suggests, would certainly appear to be the more appropriate option for adult vocational education and training. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this video useful, and you'll find heaps more useful information about vocational education and training, including adult learning theories, in our other bite-sized tutorials. Take care.